So first you start on your back with the feet hip width apart and parallel to each other. Knees are going to be bent at a comfortable angle. And let's just first take a couple of breaths here. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Feeling that breath expand your ribs laterally, expand your ribs front and back as well. Sinking the sacrum and the lower ribs in the back into the mat with each inhale and exhale. And from here, we'll just make sure that we are in a comfortable position with the back of our head as well. So we're looking straight up at the ceiling instead of looking too far back or maybe too far forward where your voice sounds like this. The back of the neck is long. And now let's just imagine that we have a big bowl of soup right there on our pelvis. And it's a creamy soup, so it's pretty thick. And the bowl is about half full. So all we want to do is just tilt that imaginary bowl front and back without spilling the contents of the soup. So we're going to roll through the pelvis on the inhale. The back arches a little bit, you can see, tilting that bowl of soup towards the legs. And exhale, rolling back, imprinting the lower back a little bit, rolling that pelvis and tilting that bowl towards the ribs now. So inhale and exhale. Just doing a few rolls here. Thinking about the feet as well for additional support. And as you can see, that move sends a ripple effect all the way up the spine. There's a little bit of a shrug of the shoulders here. And it's just a very small and gentle movement on the inhale. Tilting that imaginary bowl of soup towards the legs. Exhale back towards the ribs. Inhale towards the legs. Exhale towards the ribs. Now, right from here, when we go back into the imprinted spine here with a bowl tilting towards the ribs, we can take another inhale from this position, and then on the exhale we're going to reach the sitting bones towards the knees while sinking the ribs down and coming up to a small bridge here. So we don't want to come up too high here. We want to stay where there is a long line from the knees, the hips, all the way through the shoulders. And if you're feeling that you're too much on your neck and it's getting compressed, that means that you're probably up too high. We're using the feet here for support, the ribs as well, and we'll take an inhale from here. Continuing to reach through the tip of the head in one direction and through the sit bones towards the knees, and rolling slowly down on the exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, making sure that we get that sacrum on the mat when we're down. And then inhale, tilting that pelvis back a little bit. Exhale, bridging up again. And this time let's focus more on the relaxation. So we're going to relax the jaw, we're going to relax the neck. We'll inhale and exhale, slowly start coming down. Now for some added stability in the pelvis, you want to focus a little bit more on the feet. Focus on the big toes there and on the heels sinking down through the midfoot as well. So inhale and exhale, coming up, a little bit more stability in the legs, a little more tension there. The glutes are gently working, not too hard, but just enough to do this move. And then inhale and exhale, slowly down. So you could do that a few more times and really get a feel for the articulation of the spine, which means you're moving it segment by segment up and down as well. Now from here we can have the arms out a little bit wider at a 45-degree angle. We'll bring the knees together as if we're holding a piece of paper with a very important document here and we don't want to lose it. And we'll just tilt the legs side to side now. So inhale, we're going to go tilt to the right and exhale back. And then inhale, other direction to the left and exhale back. Now the key focus points here are the lower ribs in the back. So on the inhale, when we go to the right with the legs, we're inhaling here into that back lower rib and exhaling, bringing the ribs back first and then bringing the pelvis back and the knees. So we want to also avoid lifting that shoulder blade and kind of rolling over to the side. So we're just using those arms for extra support and going side to side like this, keeping the knees on top of each other. And from here, let's work a little bit on our shoulder mobility, really open up those shoulders. Very good for people who sit a lot and really for everybody, but we can just first have the arms up, fingertips pointing towards the ceiling, and let's just pretend that someone's pulling us up towards the ceiling by the fingertips. So we inhale and exhale. So inhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades apart here, and exhale, coming back, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. It's as if there are two sockets on the mat and you're plugging your shoulder blades into those sockets and then unplug it. So inhale, unplugging, exhale, plugging back. And from here, we're going to do that same unplugging, lifting movement first, and then on the exhale, we're just have the arms back. Let's let the ribs lift for now, and then just coming back. Inhale and exhale, allowing the ribs to follow. But then on the next set of repetitions, what we're going to do is we're going to try to keep those lower ribs down in the back. So we'll do inhale and exhale, sinking through the sacrum, through the lower ribs, and then back up. So as you inhale, feel those ribs expanding on the mat, and then exhale, keeping those ribs down, bringing the arms back behind you. So it might mean that you're not going all the way down here, because then your ribs might start to lift. You might stop here or even here, wherever you are comfortable. And now let's also do some more work with the hips here, so we can just have the legs up, knees facing out, heels together in a kind of a diamond position. Here again, we're going to focus on our sacrum, on the back of our head, and on the ribs in the back. And we'll just do small circles here, circling our legs, helping out with our hands here. Just doing very small circles and making sure that we're keeping that sacrum down and the lower back isn't moving. The lower back doesn't have to be imprinted into the mat. There can be a little bit of a curve there. But as long as we're keeping the sacrum and the lower ribs down, we have those bony points of contact that can help us stabilize on the mat and really focus here on the hip bones moving, like you're stirring soup in a big pan there, in a big bowl, with 2 spoons, which are your hip bones. So just doing these small movements. They're very small. So now we'll go into the sideline position. We'll line ourselves up against the back edge of the mat, and we'll imagine that there's a glass wall there. So the heels are touching that imaginary wall, the sacrum and the back ribs as well, and we'll just move the back of the head there also. So we're all lined up against that wall. And let's make sure that we're comfortable here on the neck, so we can use a pillow here if we need to. We could also extend that arm or just keep it bent like this. The left hand is going to be used for support, so we want to have the fingers out wide to create a nice base of support. And from here, let's just lengthen a little bit through the sitting bones and through the top of the head in 2 different directions, creating a kind of a mouse hole here, so a little bit of space here underneath that right side. And from here, we'll inhale, pressing that right leg down, and the left leg comes up on that exhale. And slowly down, inhale, and back up on the exhale. So just doing that a few times, making sure that we're keeping that neck nice and relaxed. And we don't want to go up too high, because then the pelvis is going to start turning, and we don't want that. We want all that move to happen in the hip bone. So the hip bone is turning inwards and outwards. And if you just focus on the movement of the bone, then it's going to take a lot of pressure of those big muscles and use the stabilizer muscles more. So we can do that a few times, basically going just above parallel. And from here, we'll have the left leg at parallel, and we're going to go forward on the inhale and back on the exhale. So here you don't want to involve the lower back to where it looks like this. You want to keep it all here in the hip joint, so the hip bone is moving. And so on the inhale, you're going forward, you're kind of putting the brakes on a little bit with your abdominals. You can feel them working without squeezing them too much yourself. And then on the exhale, just feel the gluteal muscle working here as it puts the brakes on the leg so it doesn't go too far, allowing you to keep the lower back stable. So just doing that a few times. Inhale and exhale. Moving very slowly here. And from here you could straighten that leg, add a little bit of a leg circle here, continuing to lengthen through the top of the head and through the sitting bones, making sure that both sides here are of equal length. Then reverse the circle, do that a few times. Now we'll come up to what's called the Z-sit position. So we'll be sitting on the right sitting bone here. There's a little bit of space underneath here, about maybe 3 or 4 fingers worth of space. And the right shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat. The left shin is parallel to the short edge of the mat. So we're sitting up here. Let's sit up here nice and tall with the legs being quite active. So the legs are pushing us off the mat, allowing us to lengthen. If you're feeling a little bit of a compression here, just go into this position here, keeping both sides nice and long. And from here, when our right hand is down, let's push the mat away. I don't know if you can see if it's stretching a little bit as I push the mat away. And now let's turn this elbow in to face the body. So if we just keep pushing the mat away, we're already going into a little bit of a side bend here on the left. And we want to continue that move. And so we'll take the palm of our hand so we can cradle the back of the head like this. Elbow can be facing forward a little bit. Then inhale. We're going to keep pushing the mat away with the right and doing a side bend on the inhale and back on the exhale. So inhale, we're going to reach that elbow up, really lengthening that entire side. And we're breathing into the left part of the rib cage, front, back, and the left side. And coming back. So we're just lengthening here. Now here we want to make sure that we're not doing this where this shoulder comes up. That's why we're pushing the mat away to keep the shoulder away from the ear and really reaching up with that elbow. And from here we can go to the other side, do the same thing on the other side. Here you will feel the pelvis dragging you down, kind of like an anchor. So the pelvis is going to sink you down into the mat and the elbow is going to come up. You're going to open up that entire side. So we can do some extension on our stomach by going down to our stomach here and just having our arms at our sides with the palms facing up. Now we'll turn to where our nose is floating just off the mat, the back of the neck is long, and we're looking straight down as if we're looking at our reflection in a pond. We have the pelvis down here, so there's no space between the mat and the pelvis. The ribs are also down. There's a little bit of space though here underneath the belly. And we're going to inhale, reaching long through the heels one way, through the top of the head the other way. And we'll come up just a little bit to where we're still supported with our lower ribs. And exhale down. The arms also come up with the shoulder blades drawn slightly together, shoulders down. And exhale back. Inhale. And exhale back. So we're not looking way ahead using our neck. We're keeping that back of the neck long, and we're looking just a little bit past that front corner of the mat. So inhale. And exhale, keeping the pelvis and the ribs down. Here we want to inhale into those upper ribs in the front, sending them forward, and the lower ribs are going down towards the pelvis. And down. Now when we want a little bit more of a challenge, we can come up here, stay here, continuing to lengthen, and just pumping the arms, keeping them straight, pumping them through the triceps for inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you're done with that, you can just sit back a little bit in the child's pose. Now, if this puts a lot of pressure on your lower back, another great way to do an extension is to use a ball, such as this one or this one. I prefer mine a little bit more deflated, so we can use the deflated ball. Just put it here around our upper back area. So we're here in a little bit of flexion, and then we go into extension on the inhale, keeping that sacrum down and just spreading the ribs, opening them up on the inhale. The upper ribs go this way, the lower ribs go the other way, and exhale, really feeling that rib cage open up, using the breath to assist the movement. And from here, let's do a little bit of flexion as well, so we can be down on our backs again. Let's have the legs together so they're not splaying. We will clasp the hands together, have them cradle the back of the head, and the elbows are going to be facing up so you can see them in your peripheral vision, making the shoulder blades nice and wide as well. Now, as we're sinking through the sacrum, sending those ribs down, we do inhale, and exhale, the ribs go down and we come up. The eyes are sliding across the ceiling and forward towards the knees. We're going to stay here. Take another deep breath in, breathing into the back ribs. And exhale, slowly roll down. And from here, we'll go a little bit deeper with that move. So we'll do inhale, exhale. We'll come up here. Inhale. Reaching the arms forward, grabbing the backs of our legs, elbows out. Exhale, we'll come up. Getting a little bit deeper so the lower back's now imprinted into the mat. We're reaching through the crown of the head. Inhale. Hands back, behind the head, and exhale, coming down. Now we want to make sure that we're not yanking on our neck here. It's not a fitness style crunch. So what we want to do instead is we want to feel the hands cradling the back of the head. The back of the head is just resting in the hands like a hammock. And we're going to come up slowly with all the movement happening here, sending the lower ribs down. The abs are going to activate. We're going to come up and we're going to try to keep that height by reaching to the top of the head. The abs might be even shaking a little bit as we bring those hands back and down on the exhale. So these are just the very basic moves, which basically give you a full-fledged Pilates workout, because you get to move your spine in all directions. You get to side bend a little bit, you get to rotate, you get to flex and extend your spine as well. Once you master these basics, you can use these as building blocks then to do the more advanced exercises, but these are pretty much the essentials, and they're suitable for pretty much everybody, but still make sure that you consult your doctor before doing any kind of an exercise program. Thanks for watching.